Hello friends, today I'm gardening with Creekside. Brenna and I are here in the Signature Garden. We are beginning fall cleanup for the Signature Garden, and while we're here, we're going to take a look back over the last year for this garden because this garden is not even a year old. We planted the first shrubs, which were the sprinters and the little lime punch hydrangeas, the beginning of November of last year, and this garden has she's gone through a lot her first year, but before we begin to take a look back, we're going to start the fall cleanup process. What does that mean? Well, number one, we're going to start pulling out the annuals because here we are, middle of October in North Carolina, a Zone 8A. This week we have low temperatures in the mid to low 30s. I am so excited. It feels like fall has officially arrived here in North Carolina. I personally like to pull out the annuals before the first hard freeze. Why? It's simply easier, y'all. Once you have a freeze, those plants turn to absolute smush, and they're mushy and they're slimy, and they are a lot harder to get out once the freeze has come as opposed to right before. They're done. They've had a beautiful season. We're going to take a look back and see them in all of their glory, but it is time to say goodbye to them. Brenna is here with me. Like I said, yesterday was her birthday. She had her third birthday. We were up and we were seeing Mimi, and Mimi gave her a fresh bone for her birthday. So you may not see her running around a whole lot today because she is chewing on that raw bone and she loves it. The main areas that I'm going to be focusing on today are the raised beds. So here in the raised bed, like I said, the very first shrubs that we planted in here were the hedge of sprinter boxwoods that go down both sides, and then the little lime punches. You can't even see the little lime punches, my friend, because these annuals have completely just taken over them. About maybe 2 weeks ago, some of my staff, they had some time, and so they went ahead and got the other raised bed. That is all cleaned up. So those annuals are out, but now we're going to turn our attention to these. You can see that with Helene and the storms, they're smushed, right? So the poor dahlias, the coleus, everything just needs to come out. So we're going to just do it really simple, y'all. I am going to, I got my gloves, I got a shovel because I have a feeling that I might need a shovel to get some of these annuals out. And we're just going to pull all the annuals out. I've actually got the Kubota with me today because it has a hydraulic dump on it, so it makes cleanup a lot easier. We're going to throw it all in there. We have natural areas where we decompose all of our green material. It's not an official compost site, but we just let it return to the earth. So I will throw everything in the back of the Kubota, then we'll go dump it. And then once everything is kind of cleaned up, then we will come back and take a look back, and we're gonna look into the future because, oh my goodness, y'all, fall is the time to be planting your spring flowering bulbs, and I've got one or two that are going to be coming in December that we're going to plant. Also, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and take care of the fountain. Around the fountain are just some caladiums. Caladiums especially are very tricky to get out once the smush factor is high. So we're going to go ahead and take those out. The mere simple reason that I'm not taking out the 4 annual beds is because that's a little bit too big of a job for one person. So Jerry and I were talking about it. They're going to come out because from a distance, yes, they look good. Up close, it's rough. Again, the freeze is coming. And so we're going to go ahead and take them out, prep the beds for the tulip bulbs that are going to be coming. But I just need more help with me with those. So we're not going to do that. So what I'm gonna do, simple y'all, just go in, I'm gonna pull all the plants out, get as much root ball as I can, shake off all the good extra soil, clean up any weeds. We're gonna pull the weeds, we're gonna smooth it out, and make sure everybody's nice and happy, easy peasy. And then we're gonna have some fun reminiscing and looking forward. All right, my friends, so got everything cleaned up that was on my to-do list today, and it looks amazing. Now, I may be absolutely covered in soil because it is quite dry here. We have not had any rain since Hurricane Helene, which is great for the mountains. The garden, not so much, but it was very dry, and pulling out all of those annuals out of the raised bed, it certainly was a little fluffy and dusty, shall we say. But yeah, I mean, everything is pulled out. Of course, it just came through, and really I was just like raking to get any of that loose debris up. We have got so many hardwoods that just are part of our natural landscape around here. So I'm not trying to like specifically get the leaves out. I was just trying to get any kind of debris out, and then of course just make it nice and smooth in here. You can see the hydrangeas. They look like typically what a hydrangea looks like here in North Carolina in October. This one took a little bit of a hit because it had, I believe it was a coleus that had fallen down and laid on top of it. So that was another reason why I really needed to get in here and get all those annuals pulled out. As far as the maintenance on this bed, what we'll do is into February, we'll go ahead and give our limelight punches a nice little trim, boxwoods, all that kind of stuff, all that fun stuff. So everything has gotten cleaned up and looks great. Now, let's talk about where we have been, because it is crazy, y'all. It has been not even a year. This garden is not even a year old. We planted the boxwoods and the little lime punches like November 1st of 2023. So of course you have to go through the whole design process, right? We had to figure out what we wanted to do. We had to make the beds. We have to design the process. It was an absolute clean slate. Get it as much level as you possibly can. Get the slope right so that the water drains. Get in the hardscape, well, we actually didn't, right? So it was just first the berm, like for the raised beds, and then Jerry said, what would be great? Let's come back and make the hardscape around it. So that was actually an addition. That was not in the original plan. But yeah, so 1 year, almost little over 11 months that this space has been here and doing, really, really well. We will have the sprinters. We will go ahead and trim them at the end of winter, and because we want this to become a hedge. So we'll give them a nice little shape, give them a nice little haircut on the top so that they grow into a hedge. And because the idea is that when we planted them, the sprinters and the little lime punches are spaced so that when at maturity, they will kiss one another. This year, of course, remember it was in April in this bed that we started planting our annuals. So this year we had, for the summer display here, all in front of the sprinter boxwoods, we had the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry, and y'all, she was gorgeous. Jerry and I planted them, I think it was towards the end of April, because for us in the South, the sooner you can get your Supertunias in the ground, the better they do. While this bed does have drip irrigation, and you can actually see some of the tubing right there at the base of the sprinters, where the jazzberries are down here, they don't have irrigation on them. Now, yes, some of that water flows down. We had to keep them watered just a little bit, but they did such a lovely job filling in this entire bed area, and they held on for such a long time. They were gorgeous. So no, that was at the beginning of April. Sorry, I'm getting all my, I tried to go back. I think it was April the 1st, 3rd, something like that, we planted the jazzberries. What was towards the end of April was when I came in here and planted what I just pulled out. So got that nice and thick, beautiful mixed bed in here through the summer. It was gorgeous for the Creekside Signature experience. It was just lovely. Now, moving forward for next year, will I plant it the same way? Absolutely not, because my little lime punches will be growing and I want them to fill in. So this coming year, things will be nice and low and hugging the side. I will not go for all that big height in these beds because I want the hydrangeas really to shine. And of course, both sides are planted the exact same. Looking back again, after we got the sprinters, and the hydrangeas in. Then we moved towards the 4 outside corner beds. The 4 outside corner beds, we first planted all of the shrubs in there. So that was like day 1. We had the shrubs and we planted them. The 4 outside beds, they complement each other, but they're not matchy-matchy. Like each one has a summerific hibiscus. Each one has a baptisia. Each one, they have certain perennials that are the same. The next day we came back and then planted the perennials, and that was all in, throughout November, because when we say that the fall is the perfect time to be planting, we practice what we preach. So October, November, December, great time to be planting here in the South, and plants do really, really well. We did not lose any plants over the winter time. Even some of my ones that are hot weather plants, like say like a Loropetalum, my gardenias, some of them took a little bit of a hit as far as for the cold. They took a little bit of a hit, but man, they bounced back with the heat of the summer and did really well. So prime case in point is this sweet thing right here. So this is the Jazz Hands Bold Loropetalum. It really took a hit in the winter time with the cold air, but came back beautifully and is doing really, really well. So basically over the winter, we just kind of let everything sit, right? Once we got finished planting the shrubs, the perennials, we did do some pansies, violas in the 4 inside annual beds. This year, we're not going to do that. And so we're just going to kind of skip that point this year, and we're not going to do any pansies, violas within the signature garden. We're going to let the garden sleep, because come in December, that is when my order from Color Blends arrives. Now, I did have an order, it was a last minute edition order that came yesterday. Those were the yellow tulips for the terrace gardens. So they're actually chilling out in the refrigerator here, because where we are in North Carolina, Zone 8A, we have to pre-chill those tulip bulbs. I can't just stick them in the ground in the fall, because our winters are not consistently cold long enough. So we have to pre-chill them. If you can order in advance, and I think it's just a flat fee, Color Blends will actually pre-chill your bulbs for you. So I took them up on that offer. They are set to ship December the 2nd, which is the same time that we planted last year. So last year, of course, this literally was a brand new garden, right? And we did a beautiful blend of white and pink tulips. Had some pictures that I was looking back at, and so this back bed, they were just beautiful in that bed. And we also had them around the base of the fountain. This year, after being in this space for almost a year and a season of tulips and everything, I have decided to do one blend of tulips for the entire signature garden. So within this whole entire signature garden, we will again plant the fountain. We will plant the bed here that has the glitters and glows viburnums. We will plant the raised beds, and then I don't remember how many we ordered, but we probably will have enough to do the 4 inside annual beds as well. It's a lot of tulips, y'all. A lot of tulips. So the blend that we are doing for this, the signature garden, is Bejewels. I am sure I am butchering that. In fact, on Color Blends, they had like how you're supposed to say it, and they're like, most people just butcher it. So I'm just going to butcher it and say Bejewels. So it is a beautiful blend that will bloom in like mid-season. So for us, that means like mid-March. It's going to have some lavenders and some pinks and some yellows, and it will have different types of tulips. So it has like the tulip top, I don't even know, the ruffle, the doubles. So it is going to be a stunning blend. So if you are going to be in the area in the spring, mark your calendar, plan on coming, and even if it's just to walk and see the tulips, of course the nursery will be open in that mid-March. It is going to be fabulous. And then, because you know me, I can't just do tulips or just do one set of tulips. So back here with the sprinters and between the little lime punches, I went ahead and ordered some of the Globe Master alliums. So I did it based on the spacing. So we're going to plant the Globe Master alliums between these guys because of course they get nice and tall, gorgeous, big, huge purple heads on them. How cute will they be? Because by then the sprinters will be trimmed, and so will the hydrangeas. And the hydrangeas will be little sticks. It's all right, y'all. You're not going to notice that. You're going to love the tulips and the alliums. So you're going to have those alliums going down this side. You're going to have tulips on this side, and you're going to have tulips on that side, plus the garden. So that's going to be really fun. And then we will also plant what we call this little bed over here. We just call it the pergola bed because that is the flower bed where we display the new introductions for the next year from proven winners. So in that bed is Much Niceness, and Much Niceness is going to be in that same color palette as the Bejewels here. So when you're looking at the whole space all together, it will all blend and it will all go together. When Jerry puts the drone up, it will just be glorious and have a beautiful display. So come see us, probably that mid-March. It'll depend on the weather. I'll let you know. But if you're familiar with like Biltmore and you walk the Biltmore, now in no way am I saying we're Biltmore, but we're using Biltmore as an inspiration. Let me just say that. And so you can come and look at the tulips and enjoy those for sure. But it has been a crazy ride this year with this garden because of course once we got all the gardens planted, then, we put down sod, and we had beautiful, lush green sod throughout the winter. That's the beautiful thing about being in North Carolina. We can grow fescue grass, which stays green all winter. It doesn't go dormant and brown like Bermuda or Georgia or centipede. So we had that beautiful green grass. The signature experience in, in late June was phenomenal. The gardens were just perfection. It was the perfect time because the hydrangeas were blooming. We were starting to get blooms off of our hibiscus. We had people walking throughout the gardens and it was just lovely. Now, was it warm? Sure it was. But it was a beautiful event. The gardens were looking spectacular. We've opened that up. So if you're interested in coming this next year, we'd love to have you for the signature experience. And then, of course, even after it still looked good, even after we had the flood of May. And so, of course, in May, we had that horrible flood that just came through. It was a flash flood, insane amount of water that we've never had here in the 21 years that we've been married and lived on this property. They just came through. The garden actually didn't sustain any damage. Of course, if you remember, it was all of the shrub lot that took the main hit. But it all worked out well. And then, of course, this fall, what did we have? Army worms. That's right, my friends. The army worms came and ate the sod. And this year was especially bad for the army worms. They came. They annihilated our entire signature garden as far as the lawn. We had to put down another set of sod. This time, though, we expanded it. And, that's the thing about gardening and life. There's always going to be a challenge that comes up. And you basically you really have two choices. Either you just put your nose down and you just deal with it and you fix it, or you can feel sorry for yourself. And sometimes those can go at the same time, right? You can feel sorry for yourself and still put your nose down and just work it. So that's what we did. We worked the problem. We don't have a choice, right? You just keep on moving forward. So that's what we do. But to say that we are so pleased with how this garden has done in 11 months is an understatement. I can't wait to see it in 2 years from now. That will be when it's 3 years old. And it will be stunning because our shrubs will have taken off. The first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's always new additions. You're going to have plants that die. Well, that's just an opportunity to plant something new. And then, of course, new plants are always coming out onto the market. And so we just go with that as well. So it has been a good day here in morning in the garden. I do have some weeding that I need to take care of. I think Jerry and I might go get some lunch. I don't know. Maybe then I'll come back because those two outer beds that need to be weeded should be in the shade by then. and it'll just be a great day here in the Signature Garden. So if you have an opportunity, get out in your yard, do a little fall maintenance. Go ahead and pull those annuals out if you want to. Cut back a little bit of some perennials. Historically, your shrubs, right? We just kind of leave those alone until coming out of winter and going into spring. Have fun. Just go outside and be. Even if you just have a nice little chair and you take you either, if you're in the South, a cold glass of sweet tea, or if you're up further where it's colder, a hot cup of coffee, right? And just sit outside and enjoy just being out in your garden. We appreciate you. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.